Hey again, so before you start this class, it'd be really good if you've got a couple of blocks or something similar that does the same sort of job. It needs to have about that much height, just for a couple of exercises that we're going to do, so we can open up through the different points in the spine, and that's what the purpose of this class is today, is to create a little bit of flexibility through all the different places through the spine, through lumbar spine, thoracic spine, cervical spine. Some of these exercises you may feel are maybe too advanced for you, so it's about knowing your own limitations with this and always being safe. I'm going to start off with ourselves on our back. I'm going to pull in with both knees. So pull in with both knees, bring the head up towards the knees as well. Slowly release off as you exhale. Inhale and pull up. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You just feel the lower back creeping off the floor as you pull up with the knees. Just slowly moving into this. Again, make sure that you have done some sun salutations prior to doing this class. Maybe 4 or 5 rounds. Start to go in big circles with the knees. And just look at my lower back there. I've got it coming off the floor as I go through this. We'll create a little bit of flexion through the spine here. Maybe a little bit of extension if you let the knees go down far enough, and your lower back creates a bit of a gap underneath the body. Come back round the other way. Rotate around again. And then drop the feet down to the floor. Hands come out to the side and drop the knees over towards the left hand side. So you exhale. Inhale up, exhale over to the right. Keeping the feet stacked at all times. Try not to let them stagger. Over to one side. Exhale. Inhale up, exhale over. Opposite side. Inhale up to the top, exhale over to the other side again. Come up to the top point, and I want you to take your left foot on top of your right knee. Come over towards the right hand side and create a little bit of down pressure if you want to with this right hand. Just ease it over though, don't do too much. Ease off as you inhale. Exhale, pull around. You get a good view when I go to the side of how to loosen off through these areas. Push away. Drop both feet down towards each other. Take another pull in. Big squeeze in this time. Shift the knees from left to right a couple of times. It's like you're tilting the pelvis from left to right. Drop the soles of the feet down, the right foot place on the top of the left thigh, hands out to the side again, create that stable base of support, and then let the knees drop over towards that left hand side. Create that downward pressure with the hand. Inhale, release off, exhale, push down. You're probably getting a good stretch of your glute on this top leg. That's all good. The glutes have got a big function in terms of locking these hips into place as well, so they do have an effect on the lower back as well. Keep moving between those two. Back up towards the central point. Big pull up. And then bring the feet down. And I want you to take this right foot and thread it through the gap. So have a look down at that foot. Take the left hand down there, and you're going to slowly shuffle your body round into like a banana bend through the left hand side, and just have this arm above your head, just loose. It doesn't have to be doing much at this moment in time. Should get a stretch down there, the right hand side of the body, through the lateral part of where the obliques run through, and then try and pick up the shoulders, maybe walk the hand down the shin a little bit more and come up over this hand, right over the top there. sort of pull this foot through a little bit more if you want to. And we're basically just lengthening from either side. We're tilting the hip joint, or the sort of ridge of the hips on the right hand side away from us, and pulling our armpit up and over, extending it up and back up towards the central point. Both feet down again, opposite foot comes through that gap. Side bend the body, create this banana shape through the right hand side this time. Reach down and grab the ankle, maybe the shin here as well. Have the arm above the head, but in a very relaxed way first of all. Once we've done this stretch, we'll go to a little bit of thoracic rotation, and we'll be working through the same sort of test that we did in the testing part of the start of the Rangefinder program. Keep over that side. Slowly breathe out there. Come up over the top a little bit more. Try and walk that hand over. We're working a fair bit of side body today as well. And come back round towards the central point. Now, I'll probably turn this way so you can get a good view of what's happening. I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to place it over the top of my right. Try and reach this leg out as far as you can, and you'll naturally want to fall over towards this right hand side. So it's about taking your left hand on the back of your head, grounding in through this right shoulder into the floor, and then opening up through the left hand side of the body. You can just see that with me there. Opening out, trying to push that left shoulder down to the floor, keeping this leg nice and high, and that's just locking the hips into place over to this right hand side. If I had both legs together, then that would just totally ease off the stretch that I'm going to get through this torsion of the body. And we're basically opening out through this top part of the body to the left hand side, opening out to the right hand side of the body through the lower limbs, and you start to get that ringing effect, ringing the spine out with full rotation, getting as much rotation as you can through the top half of the body, getting as much rotation as you can through the bottom half of the body as well. Keep breathing out there. Keep on. Maybe you can just get this elbow down. Keep opening out there as much as you can. Keep, as you exhale, keep drawing that left shoulder down towards the ground. Spend another couple of minutes over there. And a lot of the stretches that we've actually been doing in previous sessions, a lot of them do target your spine as well. So it just depends what you're doing. Like when we're doing the shoulder opening, you're creating a lot of extension through the thoracic spine, which is a place where people usually lack mobilization. We'll be opening up through there a little bit more. A very similar movement to what we did on the last shoulder opening class. Alright, come down with both legs. Drop the other leg over the top. Cement it down with this left hand. And then feel free to just look over to the left first of all. Take your hand, your right hand on the back of your head, and open up that elbow towards the right hand side. Try and ground down that shoulder to the floor. I maybe got a little bit less flexibility on this right hand side, but for me, that rotation's probably one of my better. Well, I've got probably the most mobility in regards to any of the movements of the spine for myself through flexion, extension, side flexion and rotation. Rotation's pretty good. And again, have a look at that. We've done a little bit of flexion already. We've done a little bit of lateral flexion, side flexion, going from side to side, going forwards. Now we're doing rotation. Next thing we're going to do is opening up through our SIJ, so sacroiliac joint. It originates in the hips, but well, your part of your spine is around this region of the and is part of the sacroiliac joint, so your sacrum and your coccyx. And it's actually, you don't really have to do much for it, but it just feels so good in regards to an exercise which seems so little. It creates a lot of relief. To be honest with you, a lot of women mainly suffer with pain around the sacroiliac joint, and it's just a place of where either side, and you've got these dimples in Venus. They've got a good indicator of where the sacroiliac joint lies, and we can become really stiff there, we can become really lax in this place. Stiffness, we can, just by lying on this block like I'm going to show you, if we come back towards the central point, can create a lot of relief through that area. It takes the pressure away, it just opens things up a little bit, sort of shunts the sacrum forwards slightly. What I'm going to do, I like it on this medium height. You work to what you want, you can go the low height, but I think for most people you're good to have it in this position. And I want you to find these two dimples Venus, okay? So I'll just show you on myself. There are these 2 points here, okay? So these 2 bony points that you can find there, just above the bum and right at the bottom of the spine. And this is where the sacroiliac joint lies. You can stick the block so that those 2 points are bang in the middle of the block. And all you have to do here is just lie down. And that is it. We'll maybe do, to start off with, a little bit of motion from left to right. And again, I'm quite lucky that I've got this spongy block. The spongy block isn't as harsh in regards to mobilisation and comfort. If I had the cork block, it'd probably feel a little bit more intense, to be honest with you. For me, I'd prefer to have it a little bit more intense. But for you, maybe starting off and doing something like this, it may feel really uncomfortable. So having this sponge block is a good idea. Now, come into the settle position, make sure you've got it in the right place. We're just going to lie here, maybe for 90 seconds or so. And I want you to concentrate on your breath for this. Like we have in all the other exercises, we concentrate on breath, but more so in this position. We'll be going into extension next, which this really brings us nicely onto some of the exercises that we go into extension. So try and send the breath all the way down to the bottom of the stomach. Feel the stomach rise. You can have your hands there on the stomach. Exhale, release the breath away. Feel as you exhale, you're letting your hips drop down into this block, and now you might be starting to feel there's a difference in feeling around that sacroiliac joint on the left and the right hand side. And over time the body just slowly lets you creep into this position. Keep moving with the breath. Maybe only do another three more breaths or so, and then we'll come into a kneeling position. Take one more breath in, one more breath out, squeeze your bum, tuck, lift up. Place that block over to the side. I'm just going to stick it there. Let your knees drop out to one side. Again, up and over to the other. And come back to this top point. We're going into a kneeling position now. Creating this extension through the lumbar spine. You may have done this before. You're going to bring your heels of your hands right into the bottom of your bum. Just bridging into the spine. So you see the little shelf of the bum there. Is sort of the start of your lower lumbar spine. The sacrum is a fixed bone, so is the coccyx, but that's when when we move into the lumbar spine, we start going to these movable joints, the vertebral joints. So bring your hand there, squeeze and tuck through the pelvis, that's really important, and then lean back slightly, create this extension. I'm just going with knees together at this point in time. Come back up, go one more vertebrae, up, shutting the hands up, opening through the shoulders here as well. One more vertebrae up. Maybe you can't even get your arms behind your back like this to support the back. So just use your hands and your hip, however you can do it. Maybe taking it into this grip rather than having the heels of the hands there. But if you have the heels of the hands and you can get them into that position, you're going to get more of a chest opener for this as well. So you're working through shoulder opener and you're also working through extension through the spine. Working through this position. We're going to go into camel pose, and this is a place where I want you to try and work on the side of caution. Always tucking and squeezing through the bum cheeks, and you can come up onto the toes like this, and it gives you a little bit more height. Now, people are going to be different standards doing this class, so just starting off, if the one that we've just done feels good for you, then stick with that. The next level up is coming down with one hand, and you're placing the heel of the hand, or the middle part of the hand, right onto the heel of the foot. And just feel how that is. Does it feel okay? If it feels okay, take the hand up, bring it back down onto the other side, and pushing through the hips, opening up through the chest. We can just stay here. The next thing or the next pose that would be another step up from this, but we're not going to do it, it's a little bit more advanced of the inverted bow. But it gets a lot of extension, that can really open your shoulders, opens hip flexors, and basically pulls this whole front fascial line of the body away. Stay there. If you feel like you can have a little bit more, then you come onto the fronts of the feet, and then you can go back again and open up. But you're trying to push the hips forwards, you're trying to get this extension through the spine, but never trying to hinge through one vertebrae. You're trying to create this tension through the pelvis that allows you to get more extension through each vertebrae, dissipating that force evenly, rather than hinging and creating, different conditions can come from that. These inflammatory conditions, spondylosis, spondylolisthesis as well, from too much extension. A lot of gymnasts get it because they hinge through different areas. And do a little bit of counter stretch, coming into your child's pose there, sitting back onto the heels, extending those hands out. We're working to more of side flexion. Really good QL stretch this. QL being this muscle from the 12th rib down to the top of the hips. A lot of people associate this with back pain, and a great way to lock yourself in a position, you need a wall, is put your bum right into that crease of the wall and the floor where they meet, and then cross the legs. However you want to cross the legs, whatever feels comfortable for you. This is my nice comfortable position. Shuffle the bum in, create a flat back against the wall. That might feel like a good stretch for you already, just being there, especially through the hips. If you need to have some support under the knees, then grab the blocks and do that. And all you're going to do is take your right hand to the side. First one, we're just going to slide out all the way, but always keeping your back in contact with the wall. If you feel like it's coming away the shoulders, then you're not getting the full benefit. It's not about how far you can go here. It's about how much of a stretch you can get. Slide all the way up to the top, come over to the other side. Just keep it over there. That's a great stretch. Try and ground the seat bones into the floor as you do this. Come back up towards the top. We're going to a long hold now. You can either just stay with the hand down, or you can go hand over top, or maybe hand onto the back of the head and go all the way over towards that side. And you try to open up a little bit like what we did when we were doing the opener before for the thoracic spine. Keep pushing that opposite sit bone into the floor. Keep bringing that elbow over the top of the head. Keep sliding out if you can. You'll feel that muscles start to release. I can just feel it ease off now. I was actually quite stiff through this area this morning because I was doing some handstands, and the handstands that I didn't make, falling out of the handstand in a safe way really really worked through my side body. So I felt quite like I had a bit of DOMS through that area, and this is feeling great as a stretch to pull me into a better place. Just another 20 seconds or so there. And just see if you're looking at me and also yourself, how much further you are now than when you started. Take an inhale, come back up towards the top. Maybe have a line through, back towards the central point. Left hand comes out, right hand comes onto the back of the head, and then slide the hand down towards the side. Pull that elbow back, have that full contact with the floor. Once you find that full range of movement that doesn't feel like you're having a grimace to stay in it, and it feels, by using the breath, you're getting some more give. And stay there. Use this time to open up the body. Got 2 more poses after this. I'm going into plough pose. I would say this is probably the most technical and one that you have to be really careful for, especially for your neck. If you lack flexibility through your neck, then I want you to be more cautious with this, and if it feels too much, then just don't do it. Slide that hand away, another 20 seconds or so there. Ground down through that right hip. Open up through the body. Keep using the breath. Slide up to the top. Move around. For the plough pose, I want you to use the wall. So it's a little bit different to how we traditionally do it. All I want you to do is have the wall behind you, and this is going to act as a little bit of a support, a little bit of a safety net for you as well at the same time. And you will be walking your feet down the wall. I'm going to show you how to do it first, and then we'll do a walk through, talk through. There you go. So you have to find the right distance. Obviously everyone's legs are a different length, and you want to be trying to get around a leg's length away from the wall. So maybe have a sit there, put your heels against the wall, spin round from that point, a little bit of break dancing, and then I want you to lie on your back. From that point, I want you to bring your knees up, like so, and then straighten the legs. And I want you to walk your hands down your back until your toes hit the floor. Now that might be enough for you, and you might be creating a big stretch there. For me, I probably need to move a little bit further away from the wall. And I place my feet onto the wall, and you control yourself by supporting your lower back here, and then you walk the feet down the wall until you start to get the stretch through maybe the top of the neck, but just ease into it. And again, you can increase the stretch just by walking the feet a little bit further down, and you get loads of this flexion through the mid spine, also through the lower back as well at the same time. You walk the feet down a little bit further if you want to. It may feel really uncomfortable the first time you do this, but it will get easier. And probably the only time that I tell you to do this is trying to breathe into your chest, because your diaphragm is really restricted when you have your body in this position. Over time, if you can step behind the discomfort, it'll feel a little bit easier. You maybe get the knees over the head, or either side of the ears, but only go into that if you feel comfortable. Just do another 20 seconds here. Couple more breaths. Slowly come out of that stretch. Have a rock up to the top. And we're literally going to go into the complete opposite of that. Before you do that, take the hands behind you. Try and tilt the pelvis forwards. Pull the chest up towards the sky. We move back to the blocks, or whatever you've got to use, or if you can improvise. Now, what you can do, you can put 2 blocks on top of each other. If you're more advanced in regards to extension through your thoracic spine, if you know that your posture isn't that great in regards to being slumped forwards, then this is going to feel intense and it'll maybe take your breath away. So just go for 1 block. And what I'm trying to do is try and use this back edge, and that's the place where I want to create the extension. So I think, right, where in my vertebrae do I want to create extension? Well, just lower down from the from the cervical spine, probably in between the shoulder blades. All right, then have a little bit of a feel there. And you want to try and place this area right at the edge of this block, because we're trying to get that extension over the back of the block. And one of the important points for this is that as I come over the block, you do it really slowly, so I probably need to go a little bit further over. If I come over the block, look what I can do with my lower back there. I'm creating this rounded position, but again, like we did with the shoulder openers, I want you to tuck underneath. When we were doing the shoulder opener though, we had the block directly underneath our shoulders. We moved it a little bit further down here, creating this length through the thoracic spine. We're tucking underneath of the pelvis. Now for me, I'm not really getting much out of that, so I'm going to go to 2 blocks, like so, and go over the top, squeeze and tuck underneath. Go over there, squeeze and tuck. To be honest with you, the best thing to use for this is if you've got a foam roller. It's great because you can really pinpoint the area that you want. with a block, you've got a huge area that you're using to create this extension through the thoracic spine. But if you use a foam roller, you can go down from vertebrae to vertebrae. I'd probably encourage that. Maybe spend a little bit of time there. Maybe shuffle down or up, wherever it feels like you need to get a little bit more extension. And as you're extending over the blocks, the area that feels like, maybe, as you can see here, I didn't say that you had to put your arms over your head, but I've naturally done that. You can have your arms up across your chest, you can have them on your forehead, or you can have them up towards the top. You're always tucking underneath. And the area that really feels like it's taking your breath away is probably the area that you need to spend more time. Take a couple more breaths. If you want to spend longer here going between different areas of the body, then feel free to do that. I'm just going to come up. One little pulling with both knees as a counter stretch again. And rock up to the top. And there we have it. Full spine mobilised and stretched.